The episode opens with chaos, people rushing about, shouting that experiment subject Abyss has opened his eyes. A masked doctor stands at the scene, calling it nothing short of a miracle. He explains that the experiment on this human body, which has taken them 16 long years to complete, has finally succeeded. With this breakthrough, they stand to earn a massive fortune in the Abyss arena. A man standing beside the doctor asks if they truly intend to send Abyss into that wretched, lawless place. The doctor answers without hesitation, yes. He goes on to say it plainly, they are casting a humanoid weapon, one with the innocent mind and nature of a child, straight into hell. Inside a circular transparent tank nearby, young Abyss floats and watches them quietly, showing no emotion or reaction. The scene shifts back to the prince. In the previous episode, after hearing a strange voice, he opened his eyes. Just after reliving the painful backstory of Abyss, back before he turned evil, back when he hunted players relentlessly. He thought to himself that this time, things were different, he hadn't returned to the past like before, and believed he might have finally escaped that fate. But then he realized something was wrong, this place around him was completely unfamiliar, with no trace in his memory. Then his eyes locked onto a figure, a young Abyss, wearing a white coat. The prince immediately hid, terrified he was about to be hunted again. While concealed, it dawned on him, I must have transmigrated into the very game I created. Just then, a voice spoke out of nowhere, that is the correct answer. Startled, the prince demanded to know who was speaking. The voice replied calmly, telling him to stop searching, explaining it was merely a stream of data. It introduced itself as the Abyss Game Administrator, and welcomed him, welcome, game designer Wang Zixin. Abyss Game, the prince murmured in confusion. He then asked, so I've really ended up inside the game I designed? Exactly, the administrator answered. And right now, you are present during a key plot point, the moment when the game's final boss, Abyss, begins hunting travelers in the empty city. But this is not the time you know, we are 8 years before that event takes place. 8 years later. The prince did the math quickly, and realized, if that's the case, Abyss is only 16 years old right now. The one who chased and killed me endlessly before was a 24-year-old Abyss. This is him, when he was still young, and hadn't turned evil yet. The administrator confirmed his thought, then added a heavier truth, you are the reason Abyss eventually goes to extremes, crosses over into reality, and begins disrupting the real world. You are obligated to save him. The prince fell silent for a moment, stunned. Save him? Save the person who wants nothing more than to kill me? He thought bitterly, right now, I can't even save myself. Then the administrator asked directly. Do you want to go home? The prince hesitated, then gritted his teeth and answered firmly, yes. Immediately, a notification appeared, congratulations, player Wang Zixin. You have accepted the mission, help Abyss clear the Abyss game, during the period when he has not yet turned evil. What? How did I accept it? The prince exclaimed in shock. This mission is impossible to complete. I want to go back to reality right now. The administrator replied coolly. Complete the mission successfully, and you will be sent back to reality. But, if you fail, you will die here. The prince stared into space, then sighed deeply, resigned to his terrible luck. First I was killed countless times by Abyss, and now I'm forced to be a babysitter for his younger self. He thought it over and realized he had no choice. Well, it's still better than being trapped in an endless time loop or dying for real. Peeking out again at Abyss, he felt a small sense of relief. Thank goodness, he's still young and innocent. He hasn't become that ruthless monster yet. Suddenly, Abyss turned and met his gaze directly. Just then, a group of people walked past where Abyss was standing. One of them bumped roughly into him. A bald man in the group snapped, Hey! Are you blind or something? Abyss just stared at him silently, expressionless. The bald man grew angrier. You bumped into me, so apologize. Don't just stand there like you're deaf. He reached out and grabbed Abyss by his collar, shaking him. Before things could escalate, the prince stepped forward and tapped the bald man's shoulder. "Excuse me," he said smoothly, offering a pack of cigarettes, "my little brother here doesn't know any better. Please forgive him this time." The bald man took the cigarettes, grinning. "Since you're the older one, you at least know how to behave. Then let go." "Fine. For your brother's sake, I'll let him off today." As the group walked away, the prince sighed internally. "I just caused trouble for myself for no reason." But then he realized something else: Abyss really doesn't understand anything right now. If he were his older self, those people would have been dead before they even finished speaking. Abyss stood nearby, watching him quietly all the while. Thinking he should start building a good relationship and leave a positive impression on this child, the prince reached into his pocket and found a piece of candy. He held it out toward Abyss and asked gently, "Do you want some candy?"